Good evening, grade 9s. I'm going to explain to you how to complete a debtors ledger. Okay, now in this activity, the specific activity, activity 3E, they have given you a completed debtors journal and a completed cash receipt journal. We do not have a cash payment journal because we're not going to need it when we have to complete the debtors ledger. Okay, so let's just quickly recap. In accounting, we have taught you in grade 8 that there's a specific accounting cycle that you have to obviously follow. So usually in EMS, they give you transactions and they ask you to indicate the effect of each of the transactions on the accounting equation. In other words, they want to know, how does this specific transaction impact the assets, the owner's equity, and the liabilities of a company? And then after you've completed the accounting equation, you usually have transactions that you have to book over, step 1, to the journals. And that happens every single day that a sale takes place, or when money is being received or has been received, or when you pay money, you will book that either over to the cash receipt journal, or you will book it over to the cash payment journal. And then we have other transactions that we've already taught you, so I'm just recapping. When a person comes to you and they buy trading stock from you on credit, that means they're not paying for it. They've got an account with you. You can obviously therefore not write in the cash receipt journal. So that is when you will be writing in the debtors journal. Okay, and then after you've completed your debtors journal, and every time these debtors has paid you some of the money back that they owe you, you write it in the cash receipts journal. And then from the journals, the final step in EMS accounting is to go to the general ledger and to go to the debtors ledger. Okay, so this is with regards to the topic of debtors. So now in the test, the teacher can either give you transactions, and then you have to, as I said, go and book it over to the debtors journal and to the cash receipt journal. And then thereon after, you have to take this information in the journals and you have to place it in the relevant ledger, which is the debtors ledger. Or the teacher can give you a completed debtors journal and a completed cash receipts journal, as is the case in activity 3E. So I'm going to work with this activity, and I'm going to try to explain it to you to the best of my ability, and I hope you understand it very well after this lesson. Okay, so there's two things that you can decide you want to do when you want to complete your debtors ledger. You can either, because you know a month obviously starts on the 1st and it ends on the 30th, or it starts on the 1st and it ends on the 31st, or if it's a February, it starts on the 1st and it ends on the 28th. So obviously, with regards to the day that these transactions has been booked over to the journal, to the DJ and to the CRJ, you have to work numerically in order. You cannot skip a day. So you can either decide to work numerically, or let me say day by day. So you book over the 2nd, then you book over the 4th, then you book over the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 14th. Or you can decide to do it data for data. I'm going to today explain to you how to book it over using data for data. We've got 2 debtors here that is buying from us on credit. We've got A. Goza, and please excuse me for not pronouncing the surname correctly. And we've got B. Sutu. Okay, so I'm going to start with A. Goza, and I'm going to go to his ledger. Now, let me show you what a debtor's ledger looks like. A debtor's ledger has a column for the date. So usually here on the left-hand side, you will write the month, and here you will write the day. And then you will have the details. Now, this is the source document that you will be giving your data as proof of either a credit sale that took place, or that your debtor has paid money to you to pay off his account. Then you will see a folio. Now, this folio here is, where did you get this info? So where did you get this info from? Which journal? So for instance, if you are telling me that a clause are bought from you on credit on the 2nd, you will write invoice, the number of the invoice, and in folio, you will write debtors journal. Because whenever a clause buys from us on credit, we will be writing it in the debtors journal. When a clause decides to pay us back, we will give him a receipt, and we will get this information from the cash receipts journal. Okay, so the folio is which journal did you get this information from? Where did you get this info? Which journal, in other words? Then the second thing that you need to understand in the debtors ledger is that there is a debit column and there's a credit column. And if you have class with me, you will remember that I've taught you that debtors control is always debited. And when the debtor pays, it will be credited. Okay, we know that debtors control in the general ledger, the account is an asset. So that is debit plus, it increases on the debit side, and credit minus, it decreases on the credit side. So you can remember it like that, or you can simply remember that every time a clause buys from us on credit, the money that he owes us becomes more. And every time he pays some of the money back, the money that he owes us becomes less. So we debit his account every time he buys from us on credit, and we credit his account every time he pays us back. And that will obviously influence his balance. Okay, so let us start. I'm going to start with all the transactions of Mr. A. Koza. So I'm going to look at my journals and I'm going to see. Okay, is there anything for the first? No, there's nothing for the first. But on the 2nd of January, here you can see, he bought from us on credit. How do we know that? Because it's written in the debtors journal. So we know he bought from us on credit. We gave him an invoice because you always give a debtor an invoice when he buys from you on credit. What was the number of the invoice? It was number 123. How much did he buy from us on credit? He bought from us on credit to the value of 2,000 Rand. Remember, it's the sales price that he owes you. Okay, so now you go to his account and you write down on the 2nd day of the month of January, we gave him an invoice. Okay, what is the invoice number again? Number 123. Okay, so we gave him invoice number 123. Now, usually in accounting, you need to know that you always keep the duplicate and you give the original to the customer. Okay, so you must actually write here duplicate invoice because that's the proof that you have in your office that this transaction has taken place, because A Plaza has the original invoice. Okay, now folio, where did I get this information? I got it from the debtors journal. Okay, he bought from me on credit, so the money he owes me increases. How much? 2,000 Rand, which is the sales price. So now the balance is he owes us 2,000 Rand. Okay, now after you've completed that, just to help you not become confused, I would draw a line through it. So then I know I'm done with that transaction. Now I will go over to the next transaction, but now in numerical order. So you can see in the DJ, he's bought from us on the 6th, but on the 5th, there's nothing. So obviously, we're going to use the 2nd date that A Plaza bought from us, and that's on the 6th, because nothing happened before that. Okay, so again, you go to his ledger, you write on the 6th, you have given him another invoice because he bought from us on credit again, according to the DJ, the debtors journal. And this specific invoice, the number of it is invoice number 125. Okay, so then you go to your ledger and you write duplicate invoice number 125. Okay, and how much does he owe us? He owes us the sales amount, which is 3,000 Rand. So he owes us 3,000 Rand. I write it in the debit column because the money he owes us increases. And also, debtors control is always debited, and when they pay, it is credited. Okay, so he bought from us, so that's why we debited. So now he doesn't owe us 2,000 Rand anymore. He owes us 2,000 Rand plus 3,000 Rand, which is 5,000 Rand. So that is how much he owes us now. Okay, so when you are done with that transaction, you just draw a line through it again so that you know that you are done. So now let's see what happened after that. On the 7th, as you can see here, he paid us because it's in the cash receipts journal. So we received cash from him. We received cash from him for what? For debtors control. That means it's for his debt. So he paid us 2,000 Rand on the 7th. And then here, this 52 is the receipt number because we are receiving money. So we give him a receipt as proof of that. So you go to your ledger, you write duplicate receipt or just receipt number 52. Folio, where did you get this information from? From the cash receipts journal. What is the date? It is the 7th. Now, he is paying us money. That's why we gave him a receipt. So you can't write it in the debit side. You must write it in the credit side because the money he owes us is now less. Okay. How much did he pay us? He paid 2,000 Rand. So 5,000 Rand minus 2,000 Rand is 3,000 Rand. So now he owes us 3,000 Rand. Once you're done, you draw a line through the transaction so that you know that you've done it already. After the 7th, the next date is the 10th. He gave us money again. So we gave him receipt number 53. So you write the day, which is the 10th. You write the receipt number, which is receipt number 53. Folio, where did you get this information from? From the cash receipts journal. How much did he pay you? He paid 2,000 Rand. So now he only owes us 1,000 Rand. Why? Because his balance was 3,000. He paid 2,000. Now he owes us only 1,000 Rand. Once you are done with that transaction, you draw a line through it again. Now on the 11th, you'll see in the debtors journal, Xhosa bought from us on credit again. That's why we write it in the DJ, because we haven't received money. He owes us this money. So we've given him an invoice. What is the invoice number? Invoice number 127. So you go to your ledger, you write invoice 127. It's on the 11th of January. Folio, where did you get this information from? From the cash receipts journal. How much did he buy from us on credit? Sales price. What is the sales price? It's 5,000 Rand. So then you write it in the debit side. Why do we write it in the debit side? Because the money he owes us is now increasing. So the balance was 1,000 Rand and he bought from us again with 5,000 Rand on credit. So now he owes us 1,000 Rand plus 5,000 Rand. He owes us 6,000 Rand. Once you are done with that transaction, you draw a line through it. We are done. Okay, now the last transaction for Xhosa was on the 14th, and it's in the cash receipts journal. So that means he has given us money. So we've issued a receipt to him as proof of the money that we've received. So you go to the ledger, you write receipt. What is the number of the receipt? Number 55. So you write receipt number 55. It's on the 14th. According to the CRJ, that's the folio. Now, he's paying us. So the money he owes us decreases. That is why we write it in the credit column. How much did he give us? He gave us 2,000 Rand. So now he owed us 6,000 Rand on the 11th. And he paid 2,000 Rand on the 14th. So how much does he owe us now? 6,000 Rand minus 2,000 Rand, which is 4,000 Rand. So he owes us 4,000 Rand. And that was the last transaction for Mr. Xhosa. So you are done with him. Now we're going to go over to Mr. B. Sutu. So here is the ledger for Mr. B. Sutu. So we start. On the 4th, Mr. B. Sutu bought from us on credit according to the debtors journal, and he owes us the sales price, which is 4,000 Rand. So you go to his ledger, you write the 4th of January. You only have to write January once. You don't have to write it every single time. So you write January on top of this column here, and then you write the 4th, and the details is what was the source document that we gave him. It was an invoice. Why? Because he owes us this money. It's according to the debtors journal. What is the number of the invoice? Let's quickly look. 124. So it's invoice 124. And again, remember, debtors control is always debited every time they buy from you on credit. And when they pay you the money back, you're going to credit it. Now, okay, so on the 4th, he bought from us to the value of 4,000 Rand. So we're going to debit this amount. So his balance, the money he owes us, is 4,000 Rand. So when you're done, you draw a line through the transaction to know that you have completed it. Okay, so now we can't jump to the 8th because on the 5th, we have a transaction in the CRJ. So on the 5th, B. Sutu paid us 3,000 Rand. So you can see it in the debtors control column. That means he paid his debt. Okay, it's on the 5th. And whenever we receive money, we issue a receipt. What is the receipt number? It's number 51 or 51. So on the 5th, you gave B. Sutu a receipt. And remember, you have a duplicate receipt in front of you. The customer has the original. It's duplicate receipt number 51. Folio. Where did you get this information from? From the cash receipts journal. So now you credit his account with 3,000 Rand because the money he owes us decreases, becomes less. So now he doesn't owe us 4,000 Rand anymore. He only owes us 1,000 Rand. How did I calculate that? 4,000 Rand minus 3,000 Rand equals 1,000 Rand. Okay, so once you are done with that transaction, you just draw a line through it and you go on to the next transaction. On the 8th, you can see in the debtors journal, B. Sutu bought from us on credit again to the value of sales price 6,000 Rand. We gave him an invoice number 126. So on the 8th, we gave B. Sutu an invoice number 126. Folio, where did you get this information from? From the debtors journal. How much does he owe us now? He owes us 6,000 Rand. So 1,000 Rand plus 6,000 Rand is 7,000 Rand. Once you are done, you simply draw a line through the transaction, and then there's only one transaction left. On the 12th, B. Sutu paid 7,000 Rand to us for his debt, debtors control, and we issued a receipt to him with a number of 54. So you write the date, which is the 12th, you write receipt number 54, and you write 7,000 Rand on the credit side. Folio, where did you get this information from? From the cash receipts journal. So now he owed us 7,000 Rand balance. He paid 7,000 Rand credit. How much does he owe us now? He owes us nothing. So you just draw a line like that. Once you have completed the ledger, you have to set up your debtors list. Let's get it quickly. Now, this is what your debtors list look like. It's actually very, very easy. The only thing you're going to do is you're going to write the names of your debtors in your debtors list. What is the purpose of a debtors list? You want to see how much money the people owe you at the end of the month. So you're going to write the name of the debtor here. The first debtor is A. Xhosa. He's our debtor 1. The second debtor is B. Sutu. And he is our debtor 2. Okay. You are not going to write in the credit column for now. So all you do is you write in the debit column. So you're going to tell me here, what is the last balance of A. Xhosa? Let's go to A. Xhosa. What is his last balance written here? It is 4,000 Rand. So that amount is going to go to your debtors list. 4,000 Rand. So you are basically saying that at the end of the month, we know that there wasn't any further transactions. His balance, the money he owes us, is 4,000 Rand. Now we're going to go to Mr. B. Sutu. Okay. What is the last amount written there? Or what is the last balance? 0. Okay. So he owes us 0 money. So in total, now you add it all together, our debtors control has a debit balance of 4,000 Rand. That means that in total, the money owed to us by our debtors is 4,000 Rand. That is still outstanding. And that is your debtors list. So I hope that this lesson worked. I would suggest that you rewrite this work in pencil, take a photo of it, erase, and just keep on practicing until you understand this work. And if you have any further questions, you are welcome to come and ask me. I'm always available in my classroom. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye. Dan dit nou klaar gedoen.